that we have. We are never going to get anywhere until you decide that you individually care enough about your community to do something about it. 910 AM Superstation. We're the hottest station in town. Good morning, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is 6 o'clock in the morning. If you've got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 1 hour to get there. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Good to be back. I miss talking to y'all, and so I look forward to hearing from y'all today. So jump on the phone, 313-778-7600. I want to talk about what's been going on in our community. Our community, and many other communities, just like our community around the country, things that have happened in the last week since I've been gone, since we've been on vacation. And I want to know what we're going to do about it. I want to know how we're going to wind up changing things. Let me tell you something. Whenever I've heard, and many of you feel the exact same way, whenever you hear someone who's not Black say things like, oh my God, those people are this, those people are that, especially when they get around this saying, all Black community, the folks in the Black community, there's violence. Those people are naturally, inherently violent. It drives me insane. It drives me insane because don't lump me in with a bunch of other people. You know absolutely nothing about my personality. And you get to know my personality and you find out that I'm just human, just like everybody else. There are times that you can wind up pushing those buttons and I'll wind up wanting to lose my mind. But I don't think that I'm inherently violent. And I don't want you to think that. And I definitely don't want people outside of our community to think that. But then things happen like what's happened in the last week. So let me just tell you a little personal thing. I was planning to go to Chicago for the weekend. And y'all know that I lost my sister back in March. And so, my mom had 2 kids. I've got a couple of brothers and a sister that my father's kids. But my mom had 2 kids, me and my sister. And so she is, a little protective of her baby now. She does not want to risk anything happening to me. And my mother called and said, look, I don't want you to come home this weekend. This is going to be Memorial Day weekend. It's traditionally a very violent weekend. And there are a lot of shootings and a lot of people get killed on Memorial weekend. Why don't you wait and come the following weekend? I was like, what on earth are you talking about? I mean, we all know Chicago's got a problem with violence in the urban communities, but for her to say that this particular weekend is particularly going to be violent, I was like, I don't know why she'd say that. Then I got off the phone with her and I saw a news report that the governor of Illinois decided to send 30 peacekeepers, 30 paid peacekeepers, not armed peacekeepers like the military would send, but 30 people to deploy into the Black community in Chicago to try to help quell violence, to try to convince those people that when you get a call that something's happened and people planning to retaliate, to try and talk those people down. There are communities that are called violence interrupters, and they want to try and keep them from being more violent. Now, just for the record, Chicago tried something like that 45, maybe 50 years ago. They tried paying community groups to try to quell some of the violence that came out of some of the disturbances in the 60s and the early 70s. And if you don't know anything about history, you'll know that money was stolen. People wound up being charged federally, and some people went to jail. And the problem never really quelled any of the violence. You also know, if you've been paying attention, that our mayor here in the city of Detroit has decided that he wanted to try something similar. It's going to pay different community groups, people who have a proven track record going out in the community and having some sort of influence in trying to fight violence and try to reduce crime in our community. The mayor wants to pay them, wants to throw money at the problem. Listen, I'm not one of those people that'll ever say, don't try it. I believe we're going to try everything, throw money at it if necessarily. But some things work, some things don't. Maybe, there are bigger problems. I mean, there are bigger solutions to the crime problem, such as, getting people jobs, moving them out of poverty and things like that, getting them affordable housing. Those problems need to be addressed, but any administration that's going to try short-term things, hey, try everything you can try. But I noticed something, that they're only deciding to try to come up with these, let's see what we can do to stop it. They're only trying to do that in Black communities. And the governor in Illinois didn't send peacekeepers into any of the white communities and say, we need y'all to calm down when you get drunk. The mayor in the city of Detroit, none of the surrounding communities have said, we need to see if we can do something to try and quell violence in our communities. It's only happening in the Black communities. It's only happening in our own community. I'm not real sure that folks that are not in our community really, really, really are committed to trying to stop the violence that occurs in our community. There were a couple of incidents over the weekend, and we've talked about this before, about what happens when you get large crowds of Black people together. A couple of incidents. There was one, something called Juice Wars. Now, let me just tell y'all this. I will admit, this weekend is the first time that I heard the phrase Juice Wars. I never heard it before. I know that my son and many of his friends who are home from school had all said that they wanted to go to a large party that was over at Rouge Park. Y'all already know what my response is going to be. But so apparently that party, because the police chief said this in his briefing after the violence had occurred, that the party that's called Juice Wars that occurred over in Rouge Park was initially supposed to be an opportunity for college kids to get together. It's something that's put on and sponsored by some of the fraternities, some of the college fraternities. And if you then Google or you put the hashtag Juice Wars or Juice Wars Detroit into your search engines, it'll take you to Twitter, and you will see that there were a lot of comments leading up to Juice Wars where folks were saying, no violence, no violence, no violence. We don't want y'all to do what you've done in the past. Even the folks who were planning to attend the event knew that there was going to be a potential for violence to occur. Apparently, and if you see any of the flyers that were circulating on social media, they even prepared by having police officers there and security there. If you watched the news over the weekend, you know that didn't help. The crowd swelled to well over 6,000. The police wound up having to shut the party down, and there were not one but two different shootings that occurred in order to move the police to shut the violence, to shut the crowd down, and to have everybody dispersed, because you get that many people together, hey, it turns violent. There also was and I guess was billed as a car show that occurred on Gratiot. Now, here's my thing. Apparently, the police department does not monitor social media. Apparently, the police department in the city of Detroit had no idea that word of mouth spread by way of social media, and folks were told, we're all going to show up on Gratiot. And that for several miles, from 7 Mile back towards City Airport, they had what started out as a car show, but it ballooned to a very, very, very large, very, very, very well-attended event. And then it wound up getting out of hand. And then there was a shooting. That person wound up dying. Apparently, the person that got shot was the news reports say privately conveyed to the hospital and dropped off. And the folks that dropped him off got in their car and left. I don't really know what that says about whether they were real friends or not, and whether you should be careful who you hang out with. In the briefing, the police talked about there were so many cars that they couldn't get through the crowds in order to get to the location where the shooting occurred. There was all of the media covered the fact that there was a large that as a result of the large gathering on Gratiot, all of the businesses were left with tons and tons of trash. I even heard the next day one of the reporters on one of the local media outlets even compared it to Dream Cruise. Well, you know good and well the Dream Cruise requires permits, there's requires planning, there's police departments from every jurisdiction that get involved. Somehow that didn't happen. Nobody was prepared for it. And as unfortunately happens when you have a lot of large groups of people get together, it turned into violence, and somebody's dead now, and their family is going to wind up having to plan a funeral. What do we do? I mean, can we just ignore the fact that when you get large groups of people together, there's going to be violence? Is that just a given? Do we have to accept it? Is it just one of those things that's going to happen? If you have large groups of black people together, somebody's going to have a gun. I mean, I saw the mayor over the weekend talking about, these things occur because too many people have guns. So we're in the mayor's position, I guess, is we're going to try and take guns off the street. How about let's try to understand that there are going to be large groups of people that are going to gather. How about if we come up with a way that large people can get together and they can go to events without having to worry about there being violence? How about if we actually address the root cause of why there's violence so that all of the other tens of thousands of people that went to each of these events over the weekend can leave out of their house and they can go someplace and they can blow off steam, they can have a good time without really worrying about somebody might get shot. Tell me what you think. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Before we go to break, let's talk to Ms. Leona. Good morning, Ms. Leona. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. And how are you? Welcome back. And still say, I give you my condolences for losing your sister. Just hang in there in due time. God will make it easy on you.
I understand.
I think for the young people, anybody with common sense would know social media, they tell everything. So you would think the police also the partner would have someone monitoring social media. And I think for the young people in that area, go in and find out and talk to them and see what they need and make things available for them because they shut them out downtown, but you see, they went the other way and went out on Gratiot. So I don't really blame the young people altogether. I think someone needs to sit down and talk with them in certain areas and see what's on their mind, and then if educate the people and give them jobs and things, and they won't want to always be destructive. So it's not all young people. It's the older people that treat us, the young people. Some of them have lost their way as well as the older ones. So don't blame them. Just talk to them and find out what they want because the young people are coming along now. They are different. When I came along, so I enjoyed the show and welcome back and always listen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I missed y'all. Thank you, Ms. Leona. Thanks for always being there. We appreciate you. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Kenny, Fidel, Jerome, and the rest of y'all who are calling in. We're going to get to all of the callers right now. We're going to take the first break of the morning. It's a very quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads. Have you thought about advertising your business on our 910 a.m. Superstation? Our audience is bigger than ever, and your investment will be lower than ever. Find out how you can grow your business. Give us a call during business hours and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. We will tell your story, and more folks than ever before will come to your door. 248-357-4566. Ask for Henry. The super audience at our 910 Superstation wants to hear about you. Call now.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside of Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your #1 source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. It's 313-778-7600. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Kenny. Good morning, Kenny. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. Thanks for asking. Good morning, Kerry. I hope your holiday was a nice one, man, and and you enjoyed yourself while you was on off the air. We appreciate you being back, my brother. Thanks enough for taking my call. Now, I was on the news yesterday. I go down to city council meetings every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. They put me on the news channel 2. I didn't know they showed me till my son called and told me. But like I told them, there's no opportunity door open for us. I've been fighting to get vendor license downtown area, but they want to put me in certain areas. They keep denying me. They denying me the 3 spots. Now they want to say the sidewalk ain't big enough, but they got vendors down there. Then one guy say, vendor guy been down there for years, the ice cream man. So it's always excuses. Like I told them at the city council, that's why the streets is like they is. Because there's no opportunity, no contracts given to us as black folks where we can make money and sell stuff and idolize our time. But, that's one of the problems we have, Kerry. I've been fighting them for years down there trying to get vendor license downtown. And it's always an excuse. Oh, they've been here for a while. Or you can't stay there because it's a bus stop or it's a fire hydrant or it's a emergency exit to the building. I mean, it's sad. They give us nothing to go with, man. I done got frustrated, you know. I done got frustrated and say, and my mind is starting to say, whatever, man, do whatever.
See, here's the thing, but do you honestly think that the folks who hung out in each of these large crowds, that the ones who turned it from, because we've got to admit that there were thousands of people at each one of these events that were there not causing problems, and that there was somebody at each event that decided to be a knucklehead. But do you honestly think that those folks who decided to be knuckleheads have ever attempted to do something different or better with their lives? Do you think that they know that they have more opportunities than they do? Do you think that they believe in themselves enough to say, I don't really have to be out here causing all sorts of chaos. I can be doing something constructive with my life? Do you honestly think that those kids who decided to turn a peaceful event violent in both cases, that they are the kind of people that anybody at city council could have helped?
Yes, yeah, and no. I was one of those kids not pulling guns, but when I was young coming up, we didn't have nothing to do, so we just did crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? We didn't pull guns and shoot, but I'm just saying, then I grew up, to the point where I say, hey, I can make something better than myself than to keep running into the police stations and all this kind of stuff. I'm frustrated, no, and when I say yeah and no, I done got frustrated. I'm one of those guys that I think that the opportunity should be there for us, but I keep getting the door slammed in my face. So what I'm gonna do? Go out in the street, sell drugs, go out in the street and do wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make a living. These folks down there is getting 6 figures, and then they want to shut the door on me. Everybody come to our city and get our tax dollars that don't live in our city, and we catch hell as taxpayers. Trying to get something for ourselves, like a vendor license, but you got gas stations operating without license. You got other places operating the wrong way, but then they want to put a scope up my rear end. And when I ask for a vendor license to be on the corner, they turn me down by Shane Park. I would try to get one of the spots. They let me put 3 spots down, Kerry. They turned me down at Shane Park, downtown on Woodward Junction, where the festivals be coming through, Lerner and Woodward. So, you want me to go over on Bewick and Matt, where no traffic at? Come on now. I done got frustrated, man.
I hear you. Let me trust me. Everybody hears the frustration, but I think that the one thing that you said is we've got to give folks more opportunity. I truly agree with you on that. I really do. Let me. I'm
gonna say this, and I'm gonna let the next caller come in. I was down there yesterday. They trashed downtown at that little music thing. If you would have went downtown, you seen all the bottles and glass broke on the sidewalk across the street from the Coleman A. Young building. And guess who was cleaning up? Mexicans and white folks. They didn't have blacks down there. You telling me we can't clean up? We can't get a contract and clean up downtown, pick up paper and all that?
They could have.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
Man. You have a blessed rest.
You too. Let's go to Fidel. Good morning, Fidel.
Hey, good morning. Praise God. Ain't God good? Got to remember, just last week before people went on this fake holiday that your Facebook feed said that I was crazy. Nowhere I went this weekend, this was my birthday weekend, did anybody say Happy Memorial Day. Let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about business. That's not what it is. So then I'm not about to keep touching that, keep telling y'all, and then y'all say I'm crazy. I want to touch on this. Did you see the young lady that got into that terrible accident on Grand River, ran into a building?
And the car caught on fire.
It caught on fire and she died in there. Watch this, Kerry. Again, I invited some lady friends over. There was some drinking going on, and I told the young lady, my best friend, don't leave. You up on her influence. I told her to call me when you get in where you going. Text me, do something. When you get over Sports Court House. She didn't text me, and I wound up calling. Some girl picked up the phone and said, your people got in an accident, and she flipped the car over. So, again, who do y'all mad at Fidel, or are they going to take accountability for themselves? I keep telling Kim, This is the reason why I don't vote. You can't vote for Letitia Johnson and think Letitia Johnson going to do anything for your district. I keep telling Miss Leona, I keep telling Jerome, but guess what? If they going to keep doing that, what can I do?
Fidel, slow down a minute. Fidel, catch your breath. Fidel, hold on a minute. So you knew the young lady that got into the car accident. Then the police report said she was speeding, wound up crashing into the building. Part of the building collapsed on her and the car caught on fire and she deceased. You're saying those people had been drinking with you before the accident happened?
Not that one. Another incident. It was so many incidents, not that one.
Okay. All right.
I know a personal friend that I've been going to school with all my life. Not that incident. When I'm riding home, I ride right into that incident. This is what I'm saying. My birthday always around Memorial Day. It's been going on since '73, man. So again, when your Facebook feed say I'm crazy, tell them to back it up with weekends like this. It's been going on all my life. And again, Kerry, when people go out to cast their vote, know who you vote for. If they say they're a Christian, college educated, they lying to you. Because when they come to vote, when they campaign, they say, all the black people, we're going to build up the community. We're going to look out for you guys and get in and get 800 million. Do you see Dan Gilbert's kids doing this? Stephen Ross kids? Do you see Payne kids doing this? Again, these are kids that are not making good money, do not have contracts. Period, point blank, just like Kenny said. And here comes Jerome with the education. Tired of it. I'm talking to a bunch of insane people. Peace.
I have no idea if there's even a way to respond. Fidel said a whole lot. Let's go to Jerome. Good morning, Jerome. How are you?
Good morning. Unfortunately, I understand your frustration. But you hit it on the head for the first time, Kerry. The underlying cause of crime. They're not any effort on the underlying cause of crime. All you have to do is remember when we were successful every time in history. And every time in history, we had resources and we had opportunities. And ever since last year, I've been asking the mayor, the police chief, and the county executive, everyone on the address the underlying cause of crime. They refuse to do it. If you look at who's making the decisions for these children, they are. But they're not using the same criteria that they use for their own children. It's the law that you have to know their history for anything that you want to become. But it's not mandatory for you to know the history of the black children. Who made the decision to take away auto mechanics when we have a 70,000 auto mechanics man shortage, to take it out of their curriculum? Who made the decision to take welding out? Civics, drafting, home economics, geography. I mean, who said taking away their school?
Jerome. So here's my question. First of all, you and I both know that there were black folks that were on the school board at that point in time in Detroit, and they made that decision. But let's move beyond that. What is your solution to finding other opportunities for all of the youth who got into the trouble over the weekend?
Kerry, I have a major development project, a multi-million-dollar development project. Instead of the city coming in and helping me out with it, they came in to destroy it and cause a catastrophe.
So you're going to tell us what the project is? You're going to tell us what your solution is?
The solution is real simple. Address, just like you said, the underlying cause of crime. They refuse to do that. Opportunities in the neighborhood. We got to have some opportunities. You don't see it's auto racing.
I agree with you then.
In every community, they're blocking up downtown for auto racing for who?
So Jerome, do me a favor, because we're getting ready to go to break. If you get real bored, go to the state of Michigan's website, the Corporation of Securities Bureau website. Look up Midwest Motor Speedway and look at who. I want you to see if you can find the name of the person that incorporated Midwest Motor Speedway back in 1995 and 96. You're not going to get me to argue with you about whether or not we need auto racing and that black folks need to own it in the city of Detroit. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. You got to take the second break of the morning. It's a very quick break. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Make your summer getaway to a new bed. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Save up to 50% on top brands, with queens starting at just $179.99. Plus, save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow in everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone. Watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. I agree with each of the callers so far. We need more options. You've got to accept the fact that people are going to leave their houses and they're going to go somewhere and they're going to gather. We've done a pretty successful job of chasing black folks out of downtown and off of Belle Isle. But guess what? They're going to gather somewhere, whether they're gathering on Gratiot Avenue, whether they're gathering at Rouge Park. Folks want options. They're going to go somewhere, and it's up to our leaders to decide to do something about it and to try to harness that energy for some good purpose. 313-778-7600. What are the options? What should we be doing? What's missing? 313-778-7600. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Fernando. Good morning, Fernando. How are you?
Pretty good, Terry. Good to hear your voice, and thank you for taking my call. Terry, I think more opportunities need to be available for children. I mean, me and you come up around the same era. I'm a little bit earlier than you, but there was opportunities, Terry. I mean, you had an opportunity for skilled trade. trades. Matter of fact, the skilled trades were in the school system, Terry. Wood shop, carpentry.
Brother, you preach in choir. I took wood shop in high school and in junior high school. Wood shop, plastics. You know, we all got a chance to make those little things where you put the stuff inside to sell it at the malls now. We also took home ec and everything else. I agree with you. I learned all of that stuff in school.
Right. And to answer your question, to speak to your question, I just feel, Terry, there's a divestment that has taken place. I don't feel that there's money that's earmarked in order to help raise the level of consciousness and opportunity for a lot of our young people. And Terry, you can drive through, I mean, you get up very early. Terry, you can ride through the city and you can see all the suburbanites here with the skilled trade jobs. You can see the outsourcing. I mean, I'm in an area right now where 90% of the jobs are white male oriented as far as these skilled trades and things like that. Terry, that opportunity is going to have to be there, and I think that they're going to have to invest money in making sure that our young people have not only the opportunity, and now we're in a high tech society, Terry. Most kids don't even have the internet.
I agree with you that we've got to give them more opportunities. We've got to expose them to more. And I mean, yeah, I like the word divestment. You're right. Then there was a concerted effort to make sure that everybody learned the skill 40 years ago. And somehow we've changed that. And now you've got folks still have a lot of energy. There's still a lot of people there. I mean, there might not be as many in the city of Detroit as there used to be, according to the Census Bureau, but there's still a lot of folks there. They still have a lot of energy, and we've got to figure out a way to harness that energy. And not teaching them any skills, you're right. We're going to wind up having more of what we've got now. But at the same time, you got to believe that if there's 6,000 kids hanging out in Rouge Park, a lot of them already, especially if there was a party that was put on by fraternities and these are college kids, those kids know that they've got options. But they also know that they, went out of their way to ask people not to bring any of the drama, not to bring any of the violence. They were prepared for that. That was the point that I tried to make in my opening comments. They knew what happened when you get thousands of Black people together, that somebody's going to clown. We've got to come up with more ways to harness. If you're going to have 6,000 people get together, whether they're on Gratiot or whether they're in Rouge Park, if you chase them out of downtown, so they're not going to be out on Belle Isle, they're not going to be along the riverfront, but you chase them out, they're going to get together, they're going to go somewhere. You still got to figure out a way to harness that energy. You've got to give people an option and some place to go.
Let me put one more thing in the soup. Let's put one more bone in the soup. And here's another thing too, Terry. You have all this access to marijuana. You have all this access to hash. You have all this access to liquor, alcohol, and things of this nature, Terry. There's more liquor stores in Detroit than any suburban area in the state of Michigan. And these stores now, you have access again to marijuana. You can get your pizza. You can get some liquor. And so
those liquor stores are in the city for a reason, because people are shopping there, period. I've had folks call here complaining about the number of liquor stores before. The liquor stores are going to be there as long as the people keep shopping there. If we can convince the people in our community to stop drinking liquor and stop going to the liquor store, watch how quickly they close. That's it. Thanks for calling, Fernando. Let's go to Flora. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm glad I got you on the phone. I've been calling this number, calling the people. And y'all got a good show.
Thank you. What's on your mind today?
Oh, everything. Because the boys, my aunt and the boys, they are sleeping. And I'd like to know, it's very important that you call me. You see the phone number? I'm in the kitchen. Do you see a phone number?
Your phone number would have showed up when you called the station.
Yeah,
so you're saying that somebody told you that we called you?
Ain't nobody called. I was waiting on Mr. I can't call this man at 9 o'clock in the morning because he got a show.
and the board would be online from 9 o'clock to 10. I was waiting.
The man that's on from 9 to 10 is Attorney Anthony Adams. Is that who you're trying to reach?
Yeah, that's him.
All right. We'll give him a message to let him know that you're trying to reach him. Okay?
Oh, you gonna let him know?
I'm going to let him know that you're trying to reach him, Miss Flora. Okay?
I've been trying to reach him. Your phone number is up under the, you see it, don't you?
Yep. We'll let him know. All right. You have a great morning. I don't know when he's going to call, but I'm going to let him know that you called. All right. You have a great morning, Miss Flora. Thank you for calling. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Rick. Good morning, Rick.
Hey,
let that go, brother. Let that go. Let's move on. What's on your mind today?
Yes. Listening to all the callers, and as usual, all of us have something to say and bring. But I think the kids sort of, suffer like we do to some degree. They don't have an identified root either, right? When they do these things, they see themselves as part of a group that they're really, not actually a part of. There's no relationship, with the group. And it's amazing how it, encompasses our politics as well. These imaginary tribes of people. These ain't your friends and things like that. You're not inviting people out to celebrate you. You're just bringing people together. They don't really seem to understand or expect anything, different. Those unexpected consequences are pretty much due to people just not on the same page, right? I mean, some of us, look at the adult community, as, Fidel amply points out, sort of have to see the differences. Some of us are black capitalists, some of us are black socialists, some of us want to be black saviors, some are determined to be black followers. Everything that we do, every group that we enter requires an obedience, right? Either an obedience to a religious leader, a cult leader, or some delusional standard a lot of times. And that's problematic. We just kind of don't know where we fit. And whether the kids have something to do, that's very important. But kids still got to get together. That means they need some orientation to get to know each other. That's not just something you bring strangers that have all learned different things, all practicing different things, and you just, bring that together and you make that a commonality. I'm not saying that people shouldn't get together, but the fact of the matter is many of us are not on the same page and are struggling toward, different objectives.
But you gotta, slow down a minute. You gotta believe that in order for 6,000 teenagers to get together in one location in Rouge Park, and for thousands and thousands of people that all showed up, apparently the car show was only advertised about social media and word of mouth, and they had a huge turnout. You've got to believe that all of those people had a common goal when they left home heading in that direction. They all planned, if the common goal is nothing other than we're going to have a good time, they all had a common goal. You can't get 6,000. You might get 4 people together and nobody really know why, but 6,000? Rick, come on, they had a common goal. The goal was to hang out and have fun. There was no real order to it. There should have been some sort of programming for we're going to do this, this, and this. If you're going to plan an event, you need some sort of an agenda. You need a purpose, or else you just getting a lot of people together and chaos is going to find its way into that group as it did out on Gratiot.
That's kind of like what you have. But one of the things that, that's responding is interesting when these things come up. But these individuals, this group goes back for some years, man. This ain't what no spontaneous thing. These people know each other. I know them. Okay, they promote this stuff over periods of time. They have people that don't like them, that hear that they're doing things. This is like no moment. They did these things that been done in the past on occasion. And
I like how you slipped in that they've got ops. I gotta go to break. Do me a favor, hold tight. I'll let you finish up when we come back on the other side of the break. 313-778-7600. And take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Detroit, listen up. Dabo has got an unforgettable Juneteenth celebration on June 17th from noon to 6 p.m. at Grand River in Livernois. And believe us when we say you won't want to miss it. There are going to be tons of family-friendly activities. We're talking face painting, bounce houses, hustle lessons, bingo, spades, food trucks, and much more. But that's not all. They've got a DJ and live performances by the Oma Wale Dancers, Amor Shanae, and 313, The Live Experience. Don't wait. Grab your free ticket today at www.dabodetroitinc.com.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming. On Mondays at 8 p.m., catch a 2-hour block of Law & Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. We're going to go back to the phone. I'm going to ask Rick to hold on for a moment while we get Miss Kinsey on the line. Good morning, Miss Kinsey. How are you?
Good morning, stranger. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, but I saw that you was calling the wrong number. I know that my cell phone number and the station's number are very close. You're not the only one that does that. People do that all of the time. Good morning. What's on your mind today?
But I called about the car show on Gratiot and stuff. I heard you were doing that this morning. I watched it. But my thing is, there's a different set of young adults than we were back in the day, the 80s and the 90s. This went on back then. Because, I ride a Harley. I used to. And we used to go on Trumbull and Grand River like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, race up and down. Till we moved to Mount Elliott. But we knew to leave. It wasn't about shooting. It wasn't about fighting. It was really about showing off back in the day. I'm sure they had some incidentals, but 9 times out of 10, we rode bikes. We could tease if you wanted to race. It was kind of organized because we blocked out some of Grand River and Trumbull.
But good. Well, this is still, listen, in order for all of those people that have shown up over on Gratiot, that was organized. In order to get 6,000 people together in Rouge Park, there was some organization, but each one of those things got large and out of hand. We've got to have some place for folks to go. If in fact people have been doing that in this city for years and years and years, I mean, you're talking decades now, and nobody, no city leader has said, we need to find a place for these people to go. We've got to come up with a place. because they're going to get together, and we'd rather they not do it out in the middle of the streets. We'd rather they not be out there killing each other and running up on the sidewalk. Maybe we should probably come up with a way to harness that energy. Somebody's going to have to take the lead.
What? Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go ahead.
I kind of said some years ago to a group of people when I was in the working world that even when our children or our adults want to go to the water park or whatever, you got to go outside of Detroit. And I asked, why don't they got all this land, why don't they put something here? And you know what I was told by one of the city council, actually, bless his heart, he passed, Councilman Hood. You remember him? And
Yes.
his son?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem was back in the day, I don't know about now, that I was told the insurance to cover whatever they put in.
That's crap. Let me just tell you this. There are insurance if you can build one, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have said that. Let me just say this. That's a cop-out answer. If you give people an opportunity to give you a cop-out answer, they'll give you one every time. But the same insurance carriers that cover family entertainment centers outside of the city will cover one inside of the city. But let me just ask you this. Let me ask you something. The rational truth, knowing who the crowds are that you're going to wind up catering to, because clearly if you build something, they will come. Clearly there are plenty of people that have energy and they're going to get out of the house and go somewhere else. Here's the bottom line, and I mean, it's 6:51. I don't know how many people want to comment on it, but if in fact you had the opportunity to build something that you just like what you just described right here inside the city, not out in the suburbs, but right here inside, sweetheart, you and I both know there's still plenty of vacant space right there at Grand River and Trumbull. But if you had the opportunity to build something right here inside the city, knowing the crowd that you're going to attract, would you worry about safety, or would you say, I'm going to go ahead and do it? Do you think that you would bring inherently dangerous and violent people there, knowing the fact that when the folks go outside to the suburbs, that at least 2 or 3 times a year, we're going to hear about crowds clowning at whatever they call Chuck E. Cheese out in the suburbs and all of the other places? Would you build something like that inside the city, knowing that some of the folks in the city don't know how to behave?
But let me ask one question. I'm gonna get off the phone. I also went to Milan and all of that, Daytona, Atlanta, bike weeks and stuff, and it's pretty much organized, but not. But my thing is, we're in Detroit, as I say, quotation, the worst people in the world. But now they're getting ready to do something downtown about the guns laws and all of this stuff and metal detectors or whatever they're doing. Over there off of 94 in Mount Elliott, there used to be a factory somewhere over in there, and that's still empty if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you haven't been over there lately. You haven't been over there lately. If you that, I know that you're not getting around that. Listen, I think you'd be amazed to see how the quote unquote new Detroiters have decided to redevelop that part of town.
Okay, but let me finish. Before they did that, that was a big area. And if they had blocked it off correctly, doing what they do, metal detector, whatever, you can only get in here by blah, blah, blah. Detroit still needs something in a way that these young folks can have some fun. Find a way, because they're trying to do it downtown and we ain't got all these metal detectors to get in there, but they're trying to do something. They had 3-4 decades to figure it out. A lot of land that's not being used. And I just, in my mindset, feel somewhere people by words, because they're going to enjoy the spot, it's going to do something about these other young folks if we put them in order some kind of way, I don't know, to enjoy themselves. We don't have to go to Milan for a race back, because that's where I used to go back in the day.
Right. Well,
and if we go
listen,
back
that
to
place is still there, and I'm running out of time, but the question, no. But I still, the question, and I guess I want y'all to think about it, and we'll talk about it another morning. If you had the opportunity to put any of the sort of things that Sister Kenzie has just described, if you had the opportunity to build it right here in the city, would you do it? would
No.
you do it?
No, because Detroit, the name Detroit means trouble. And it has been here for a while, and I'm not even from Detroit, but I've been here so long.
White folks have been investing enough money in this city right now. They ain't scared. But I want to ask the people that are in the community, if you had the opportunity to invest in to build something that you can find plenty of them out in the suburbs, but to build it inside the city limits, so that Detroit, where you're catering to Detroiters who keep driving out to the suburbs, would you do it?
Yeah. And it would be nice because that's a multi-million-dollar business.
Yes, I agree with you. Thanks for calling this morning. All right.
$1 business.
All right, y'all. I'm out of time. Thanks, Rick, for holding on, but I ran out of time. I didn't know that her call was going to go that long. Next up is State Representative Joel Jones. Either he or a member of the foundation will be here to bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9, followed by Attorney Anthony Adams from 9 to 11. I'll be back in front of this microphone tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Y'all know the temperature is going to be pretty warm today. Stay safe. It's one of those, whatever they call it, Ozone Action Day or whatever. Stay safe. Dress appropriately. Have a great time. I look forward to talking to each and every one of y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.